Dragon Ball Z, one of, if not the most popular animes to ever exist. From countless episodes, multiple movies, and of course a multitude of video games, they are all awesome. But still yet, even with all of this awesome content, fans still yearn for that ultimate Dragon Ball Z experience, especially the Dragon Ball Z gamer fans. We yearn for that ultimate Dragon Ball Z experience. And we may have finally found it in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Or did we? Hey yo, what is up everybody? I am your host Zoel the Wolf, and welcome to another special episode of The Nerd Talk. Today, we are talking about Dragon Ball Z, and just like with Batman, you gotta know, I love Dragon Ball Z. I love this franchise. Absolutely adore it. I am a huge fan, a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, a huge Dragon Ball games fan, a huge Dragon Ball Z Abridged fan, which, by the way, if you're playing this game and you are not quoting things like, "Look at my nipples," "Look at them," or
"Bulma, the mistress of bitching," that's what they should call you. Seriously, 5 ancient sages of bitchdom all gathered together one day on the peaks of Mount Bitch to proclaim your birth.
Or,
"Bitch, I'm adorable."
Then I've got severe questions. I don't know if we can be friends. But nonetheless, guys, let's roll that intro and hop right into the video. Now, when it comes to the story of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, it's, well, you know, Dragon Ball Z. If you know the anime, manga, or played any of the Dragon Ball Z games, you pretty much should know the story by this point. From fighting Vegeta all the way up to Kid Buu, it's Dragon Ball through and through. However, there is one thing, and that's that. It's the exact same story. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Dragon Ball Z story. I think the storyline is awesome. However, every game pretty much follows the exact same story. I mean, I'm already a huge Dragon Ball nut, and I've watched the show multiple times already, and I've played pretty much every other Dragon Ball Z game. And it's the same thing. Even Xenoverse 1 and 2, even though they did try and do their own original story in a way, we still, with the time traveling aspect, we still did all of the battles from Vegeta all the way up to Kid Buu. So it would just be nice for once to maybe get to see an original story in a Dragon Ball game. A story that doesn't follow the story that we know from the anime and the mangas. Again, I love the story from the anime and the mangas, and it's still awesome to experience here in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. But again, it would be nice if a Dragon Ball game came out and we actually got an original story. We have multiple timelines we could use. We have the 7-year gap where Goku's dead. Gohan could be the main character in a game. Maybe a new threat comes that we don't know about. I mean, he fought Bojack, but there could be more. There's 7 years in that time span. There's 3 years before the androids show up. There could be something to do there. I mean, you know, just to have something that's at least a little different, a little out there to change things up for the story. But nonetheless, if you love the Dragon Ball story and you know the Dragon Ball story, you're going to love Dragon Ball Z Kakarot because it is the Dragon Ball story. And also when it does come to the story, the sub-stories within the game really stand out. The sub-stories are a great way to give light into what the characters may have been up to in those times of peace, and also before they went to major battles or something like that. And they can be a lot of fun to do, from collecting to fighting to talking. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that happens within this game and its story and the sub-stories. So it is definitely worth your time. I just wish that we could have got maybe a little something different. It would have been nice. When it comes to gameplay, we have a few different things to discuss. First up, the devs really wanted to make this game more open world, and it's really nice that this game has this ability. Although it's not true open world, it still is nice that you get to fly around different areas on the world map itself and get to collect Z-orbs and go to fight and all that, and it can be really fun. When it does come to open world, one of the other games that really kind of had its own open world, and I think that the devs kind of took inspiration from to make into Kakarot, but also still changed it, was the original Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Because in that game, in the story, you would, before you went to battles, you could fly in the little overworld, you could go find Dragon Balls, and I think there were some random battles you could go to. Although it wasn't as much as we have in Kakarot now, I do think that's the basis that they took, and it still is cool that we have it, although it would be nice, again, if it was a true open world. Like, the full world was open for you to explore every crevice and go and get into all sorts of mischief. But they went with the save option, which I'm not against, and it still works, and it's still fun. There's still a ton of areas for you to go explore, still a lot of open area in each different individual area to explore. And so that's okay. Moving on, however, you won't just be flying around, but also collecting items, orbs, eating food, talking to characters, and of course, battling in epic battles. Everything in this game is built for the player to grow and level up as they go. I mean, this game is practically a JRPG just without the turn-based combat. You know, you get to fight all you want, which is pretty cool. Now, when it does come to battles, there is one simple word, and that's they are freaking awesome. But that doesn't mean they are perfect. Ultimately, when it comes down to the fighting feels very much kind of like almost any other Dragon Ball Z fighting game. But it's still fun. I think Kakarot is definitely more akin to the likes of Xenoverse 2 whenever it comes to combat. I mean, each character that you get to play as has their own unique fighting style, has their own super moves, just like any other Dragon Ball game, and it's still really fun to do. And even you have your heat gauge, and whenever you fill that up, you can enter your awoken state and start hitting harder and being faster. The only issue is, whenever it does come to combat can feel very wonky at times. And what do I mean by this? I mean that sometimes whenever I'm in combat, there are times whenever I am trying to fight against an opponent, and it seems like whatever I'm doing to them, I'm not breaking their defense, but then they can shatter my defense easily. I don't know. Maybe I just suck at the game, but I don't know. Also, on top of it, is it just me, or for anyone else, if you have played this game or any other game here lately, does it feel like AI has gotten harder in general? Because the first time I played Kakarot, I played on hard. And this last playthrough I just did for this video, I played on normal on my PS5, and it seemed like the AI was harder than normal. It was even the same in Batman Arkham Knight. The AI felt very hard, and I only played on normal when I did the video. I didn't want to play on hard and try and go super sweaty mode. I mean, I can play on hard. I like playing on hard, but I don't know, it feels like AI has gotten tougher in all games. Nonetheless, the battles are still fun. It is awesome to transform into Super Saiyan, Kaioken, whatever, and battle against these opponents from Vegeta up to Cell, or even the random robots in the world. It's very fun. The only thing sometimes I wish, and I was going to say this to the end, but I'm going to say it here, I wish there was a proper duel mode in the game. I know they have that new card game, but I haven't tried it because I'm not really interested. But I wish there was a proper duel mode and that you could use some more characters in that. I know they weren't really going for multiplayer with this game, I think, and that's fine. But I can't help but feel like it would be nice to have a proper duel mode to be able to pick the character you want to play as and fight against whoever you want to fight. I mean, they do kind of allow that in a way with the Dragon Balls to resurrect certain people you've already fought, but I don't know. It's just, it feels like it's lacking in that area. Just like, it would be nice to have a proper duel mode. I mean, there is also the training grounds, but I would love a proper duel mode. And again, I think just the battles in general need a little work still. I don't know, like, again, maybe I just suck, but it's really hard to break defenses on AI opponents for some reason. One last thing when it does come to gameplay, and especially fighting, one thing that I really do enjoy about the Dragon Ball games, and, mainly like Budokai Tenkaichi, Xenoverse, and Kakarot here, is that the arenas, and when you're fighting, they're a full 3D environment, and you get to move around fully in those environments. Don't get me wrong, I like the beat-em-ups of Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Street Fighter, all that. It's fun to do the side-by-side fighting like that, but when it comes to the Dragon Ball games, it's very nice when you have the full 3D environment arena to battle it out and have multiple places to go within that battle, because then you can use a lot of things to your advantage of distance and closing distance and super attacks, and it's really nice, and I wish more fighting games kind of had that. If you personally ask me, I think the balance to find the perfect fighting strategy is to have it to where still you have a full 3D arena, open arena like that. But I think the combat for any game, I think, this is just me, I'm just spitting ideas here. I think the balance is to find a way to mix like a form of Arkham combat mixed with like the Dragon Ball combat, but in a way that way you can clash. And it's a constant back and forth with your opponent, kind of like how it is in the anime, to make it more dramatic and more epic of a battle. And I think hits, especially in Kakarot, I know when you do have your awoken state, you hit harder, but I think the normal hits anyways, you should be hitting harder anyways. But nonetheless, combat, again, it's still fun. The gameplay in this game is fun. Everything from collecting orbs and leveling up, to eating food, to talking to characters, to fighting is for you to do to level up and to experience the game. That is how you experience the game, by experiencing the world. So, yeah. Now, of course, with an awesome story and awesome gameplay, you of course need an awesome soundtrack. And boy, baby, does Kakarot deliver on an awesome soundtrack. When it comes down to it, music is what ultimately, at least for me, is what really gives that Dragon Ball Z experience within this game. And I certainly think that a lot of other players can maybe agree on this. And maybe if you don't, I suggest go back and play through the game again, but this time only for the music, because the music adds the tone. Listen to every song as you're exploring the world, how it changes in different areas, in the story, what it goes through, and what the music does, because the music is extremely important for the mood of whatever's going on in the game. You have soundtracks like Everyday Misadventures, which gives that hop in your step. There's also songs like The Sun Gohan to Piccolo, and forgive me if I butcher this, Diamu or something like that, where it's a song that really shows characteristics between some of the characters. Kind of like how it starts out with Gohan and his soft, gentle spirit. He's gentle and he doesn't necessarily want to be a fighter, but then also the second part of the song is Piccolo and like his strict demeanor. And it really works together when you kind of think about it like that and you listen to the song, because they harmonize so well together already, and having that song play in the game just makes it even better. There's even songs that will straight up fill your body with dread, just like whenever they're fighting Cell, Frieza, and all that, and things are going bad for them, and the Z-Fighters are struggling. The songs that play fill your body with that dread. You feel the dread that they are feeling, and it's very emotional at times, and it's pretty cool whenever music can do that to you. And I'm going to be honest here, not many games, like, for me, have a soundtrack that hit me the way Dragon Ball Z Kakarot does. The only other games that maybe do is going to be like Batman Arkham and maybe Spider-Man when it comes to music. Not to say other games don't have awesome music. I love a lot of other games and their music, but just the way that this music hits, especially in Kakarot and with those beats, those story beats, it's just a very cool and nice way of expression. And you feel every note, you feel every moment of the song as it's going through and you're going through with the story. And it's really cool, man. I love the music. The music is awesome in this game. Anyways, guys, I think that's about going to wrap it up for me here. I didn't talk about DLC. I did kind of want to talk about DLC, but I just didn't have the space on my laptop to record the DLC stories as well. So I might make a separate video on that if you guys want me to. However, I do want to say I'm kind of upset that Season Pass 2 is out and it's $40. I don't know why they're doing that. I feel like that's very cheap and very greedy and just kind of them being assholes. Because the first Season Pass wasn't even that much, and I don't even know why they're doing a second Season Pass. I mean, because people already bought the first Season Pass. So I'm a little disappointed with that, but I'm still hoping that Ultra Instinct's coming at some point. I would love to do the Tournament of Power in that game. But I might make a separate video to talk about the DLC and like the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue stuff. I just didn't have enough room here. I just kind of want to talk about the base game. But yeah, nonetheless, that kind of does it. So when you add all three, the story, the gameplay, and the music together, you get one of the best Dragon Ball Z experiences there is to date. Is it the perfect one? I don't know. For me, I think it's pretty close, but I think we can still do better. I think the devs kind of stayed a little more on the safe side with this, but they still gave us something that's truly special and truly amazing. And I do love this game, and I think a lot of Dragon Ball fans will truly love this game if you haven't played it yet. I know it's been out like 3 years now, but it doesn't feel like 3 years, I'll tell you that. Again though, it's just, it's a good game, it's fun, it's a good experience, it's a great Dragon Ball experience. So if you're wanting that Dragon Ball experience, just play you some Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and you will have yourself a good old time. Nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
As a matter of fact, there is. Look at your men. Now back to me. Now look back at your men. Back to me. I am not your men. I'm flipping you off.